My research proposal is on PTSD in firefighters. What has already been done? I looked at 7 different articles that explored suicidality, substance abuse, sleep disturbances, depression, and anxiety. These were all examined to be the most critical symptoms of PTSD that are impacting firefighters today. The first study that I looked at was done in 2020. It explored trauma exposure and post-traumatic stress disorder symptom developments in firefighters using clinical interviews and self-report measures. A study done in 2018 investigated the association between post-traumatic stress disorder and suicide ideation. Another study in 2018 explored the moderating role of distress tolerance in the association between post-traumatic stress disorder symptoms and suicidality in firefighters. In 2021, a study examined the moderating effect of global sleep disturbances, which are sleep deficiency, perceived sleep quality, and daily disturbances, on the association between PTSD symptom severity and suicide risk among firefighters. In 2006, the study investigated the prevalence of PTSD symptoms in 131 firefighters from the United States. In 2018, a study explored the prevalent rates of post-traumatic stress disorder and substance use disorder that have been observed in firefighters. So how were all these studies done? They were done so by clinical assessments, self-reported questionnaires, surveys, and interviews. Some strengths that were done prior to this research were the face and contractability. Studies conducted clinical assessments, self-reported questionnaires, large samples of participants, and various collections of data that measured PTSD symptoms. A commonality and limitation between the prior research was the lack of diversity of participants, and the length of the research suggested it should be done a longitudinal design. My research question was, why is it that firefighters are experiencing PTSD symptoms under support programs? Post-traumatic stress disorder symptoms among firefighters is a prevalent issue that has not been studied sufficiently and requires further examination through research. That being the case, fire departments throughout the United States have implemented support programs for firefighters. However, recent studies found that firefighters are exhibiting PTSD symptoms under support programs. So why is this? Why is there a lack of understanding of continued PTSD symptoms by some firefighters that use support programs? That would be the gap in the research that I wanted to answer. So my hypothesis: despite the implementation of support programs, firefighters continue to experience critical symptoms of PTSD, including suicidality, substance abuse, sleep disturbances, depression, anxiety. My research hypothesis is that support systems for firefighters need to be enhanced. So the study of my design would be a qualitative method. It would be appropriately aligned to the study due to the misunderstood phenomenon, which is continued PTSD symptoms in firefighters in spite of nationwide support programs. Exploring firefighters' perceptions of the causes of PTSD symptoms within certain fire departments would turn out to be very complex in the study. This would be concerned with how the complexities of firefighters' PTSD symptoms unfold on a daily basis within fire departments that use support programs. For a qualitative study design, I will be using a data collection approach like interviews, observations, and relevant documents. These documents will include demographic information, which will include age, race, ethnicity, gender, marital status, and education. We'll also be including incident reports and call volumes. The participants in the study will be encompassing of 300 trauma-exposed firefighters in the United States, all whom pertain to diverse ethnic and racial backgrounds, ages between 18 and 55, and all genders. Some methods for the study will include an interview that will go over the relevant documents. That will be the first interview. The second interview will involve asking open-ended questions to converse with the participants and collect illicit data about PTSD and its symptoms. Lastly, the research will be a longitudinal design. Interviews will take place 4 times a year over the next 10 years to track firefighters' stress and health over time. Some variables in the study are nominal and ordinal. The nominal variables were sex, race, and marital status. The ordinal variable, it will be the years of experience. So it would be 1 through 5 years of experience, 5 through 10, 10 to 20, and 20 plus. How are we going to measure the variables? Years of experience is a valid assessment for PTSD symptoms. If we were to measure the years of experience with the amount of trauma exposure, then it would be an accurate way to measure the likelihood of developing PTSD as time progresses. If we interview select trauma-exposed firefighters 4 times over a period of 10 years, the PTSD symptoms scale would yield a relatively consistent measure. So some strengths in this study are the fact that it's a longitudinal design, and not many studies in the past have included this kind of design. Some limits are participants choose to not participate as time goes on. So if firefighters were to quit or retire before the 10 years, that would be a problem in the study. So what's next? For my next research, I would propose an experimental design. I would manipulate different types of support programs that could be useful to firefighters. For instance, this would include group therapy, psychotherapy, and cognitive behavioral therapy. As a result, there would be a clear understanding as to which type of support program works best for firefighters who are at risk of developing PTSD and symptoms. I hope you enjoyed my study proposal.